Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and tonight we are going to be roundtabling Skeleton Crew episode 4, and I've got with us tonight Angelo and Daniel. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up? Good, how
We'll
are
s
you?
Yeah,
Good.
good. We'll see if anybody else gets to pop in during the night. It's a bit awkward trying to get everybody together at the same time. But we are here to chat on Skeleton Crew. So guys, episode 4, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was really
Yeah.
good. It might be my favorite out of the bunch.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I
I'm
just think
curious to know why.
I don't know. I feel like we got a lot of interesting developments with the mystery, and I
Okay.
enjoyed that. That I feel like we're moving the plot forward a lot.
You're right. Okay.
Finding out the most that we found out so far about.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess we found out a lot at the Owls Observatory too,
Yeah.
but finding out a lot more about Attin as we progress. It feels like this is
Hmm.
the closest they've been to
Right.
accomplishing their goal. So
Right. Right.
I really enjoyed this episode. I also really
And
like
come on.
the
Hmm.
kind of like how like each episode, like each of these last couple episodes have like are focusing on a single character too. Like how this was more of Neil's episode, like his growth and
Yes.
stuff as character.
Yep.
Like yeah,
Like.
like what Dan was saying, like yeah, like it's answering some questions of mystery, but it's also leading to like
Hmm.
more mysteries of
Yeah.
like what is like ad and like why is ad so important and
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with you on those 2 points. I did have a few. I think it was pacing problems. I felt like this episode was directed by the Daniels, who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I very much enjoyed that film. I feel like there was a lot more to this episode, and it didn't make it in. And I say that because it just felt like, specifically, there was some really interesting moments with relation again with Neil and this new girl on the planet, and this whole war situation though that was going on between two factions on the planet just seemed to kind of be very jumpy. They seemed to, the passage of time was a very weird transition. I wasn't a huge fan necessarily of Jod, you know, defeating the other guys, or saving the animals and stuff like that off screen. And I feel like we lost some little elements in there I would like to have seen in other character development elsewhere. So that's where it threw me a little bit. I feel like we could have also had a bit more of a. I felt like there needed to be some sort of solution to who these people were on the planet, or at least a bit more of an understanding about them, because all we got was really one side, and we really never saw what the other side was and who they were
yeah.
and who they were fighting against. And there was, I remember, did you ever watch Doctor Who at all?
no,
I've
not
seen like a
really.
Okay.
couple episodes, but I never like
Mm.
really got into it.
Okay, there was a really good episode where it had two warring factions on the same planet, and it had a very similar vibe, but you had to get the other perspective at the same time of who the other people were that were fighting. And I just kind of got the feeling it was just this one sided piece of information. I would like to have had a little bit more to understand what this war was all about. I feel like that got lost in the translation.
And
That
definitely,
aside,
yeah, like they
that
felt
is
like they probably filmed it, but like they probably ran out of time, so they just cut it or something. Or
Possibly, I don't know. But that aside, I love the Neil development in this episode for sure. He definitely got some great moments, and we got some really, really cool little pieces of the mystery. I guess more of the treasure map being solved, or at least opening up to us, and that was kind of cool. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to go kind of like in a little bit of an order. I'm going to pull out some visuals to remind us and recap, and just feel free to jump in and talk about any of these moments. We do get to see the satellites for the first time in orbit around a planet, and although it's not at Adam, it's at Acrium. At Akram, I think it was
yeah,
Akron.
Akram.
Akram. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the fact that we got to see these satellites for the first time. It's like it definitely was something interesting with the fact that we've got several planets. It seems like about 8 or 9 of these planets are like this. Got
I
any
think they said it
theories?
was it eight. I think they said
I
at
think they
Kim's was
said
it 9?
nine.
No.
It could be 9. Yeah. So, guys, any thought to the mystery about why there are 9 planets that were all kind of concealed? I'm going to assume all the other planets look the same, have the same
Definitely.
architecture, have the same everything. Any thoughts? Because I don't know.
Yeah, definitely has to probably like because we know like this is it from the Republic era. Like
Yes.
there's some secret Republic colonies, but
Hmm.
like I'm guessing since yeah they're all identical, they're either like
Yeah.
doing something really important
Yeah.
or like because also they have like or I just like I don't know really to be honest. I just have a feeling like yeah they were doing something really important that they want to keep them secret and like safe kind of like either it
Yeah.
was like a safeguard of just in case if something went awry to have like
Sure.
the Republic resemblance still standing or
Yeah. Yeah.
who
Daniel.
Yeah, I
knows.
don't know if they all have a common goal that they were working towards with these planets. If they just wanted a planet that they could separate from the rest of the galaxy,
Hmm.
so that way they could be like Attin. Like that was their ideal
Yeah.
for all nine. Was like we're gonna make like a separate kind of universe where like this
Yeah.
is just our planets interact with each other and we don't worry about what's going on outside of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like it's hard to say. I'm sure we'll find out more,
Oh, sure, we'll
but
find out more. It just widens that mystery, though. It's
yeah,
like
no,
I,
it's
yeah,
interesting.
I'm going to assume, and jumping towards the end there, of course, but we've got other coordinates, with the exception of Attin, which was also destroyed by SM-33 at the command of his captain. A, who was his captain to give that kind of command? And B, um, I wonder what these other planets are going to be like. We're going to obviously see the same architecture. Are we going to see a different style, form of life? I don't know. It's just gonna be fun. I don't know. Just any
Yeah,
thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious how this planet even
Mm.
looked. If it was always like I
Yeah.
don't know how it like what its function was. Like we know that Adden has something to do with like all of them are like analysts. Like they all have like a similar
Right.
job. They're all like working
Hmm.
in finance.
Sure.
And I don't know if this planet is the same. Like there was like a
Yeah.
financial planet, or if they all had like a different job maybe to like
Right.
help one of the nine. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell because of what the planets become
Yeah.
now, and so war torn that it's hard to gather those clues.
Yeah.
But
Now, I assume all this would have occurred. These planets existed as a thing before Palpatine even left Naboo and any part of that. So I assume that at least. I doubt this is any part of Emperor Palpatine's plan. At least that's my assumption, at least. Uh, but
yeah, the way they talk about it, I think it's way
yeah,
older than that.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
So I guess this also leaves a mystery how also the other planets all get like found and like how are they like why is it in that state like how is this one
mm,
like Akron's in that state it is like
yeah,
'cause that added is still has been a mystery it's like the last like as you told it's like the last hidden
sure,
gem
yeah,
like how were the other ones found if they're all supposed to be like Addin and they're all
yeah,
hidden how were they found.
yeah. And then the other thing is that why haven't they been found as well? I mean,
Mhm.
obviously this planet with these kids is like left alone and nobody's been there. But obviously at the same time the shields are not working as well. What's that? So Anchorman says Jude Law character Jedi or pretender. Well, he definitely kind of said that he was not a Jedi in the second episode or gave that hint. Whether that's a lie or whether that is a hidden, reality, we don't know yet. I
He's
feel
definitely
like,
force sensitive though yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely believe that. I just don't know. I don't know who he is in relation. I mean, I just feel like he's a kid who was force sensitive, and yeah, that's it. He could be just a force wielder, but I feel
Yeah,
like we don't have to tie everything back to the Jedi all the time. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get an episode on him. I feel like
yeah.
I
I
feel like
mean,
we're owed
Yeah,
that at
the,
least.
the route like the route how we're going, how each characters are getting like kind of like
Yeah,
their like exploratory, like
yeah.
kind of thing. I think we're definitely getting
Yeah, and we kind of
yeah. My
understand Wim's story. So sorry.
yeah.
My running theory is just the
Mm.
same that he's just a person that has slight force abilities and decided to
Yeah,
use them for selfish gain and being a
yeah,
pirate. So
yeah. Although
that's
it
been my
was,
theory since the start.
yeah. Although there was that. I mean, when they land on the planet, there was. Where is the image? Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm just looking for. Yeah, there was a moment there when they were when
Oh,
he
yeah, oh,
basically
just shoot me.
yeah, just shoot me moment. I was
That
just like,
that was funny.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
funny. That
yeah,
got a laugh.
yeah. That definitely, yeah, yeah, just shoot me. Yeah,
he just saw the amount of them and all the guns pointed at him. He's like, yeah, I don't want to
yeah.
deal with this. Just
I mean, he, That's what made it so interesting to me. I wanted to see what happened next, and I feel a little shortchanged because we kind of get, we pick up and suddenly he walks in, through the forest at the end there, and manage to escape at the end there with SM-33,
Or
and
just pay his way out. Yeah.
Yeah, something
yeah,
interesting I just thought about in that scene was that so SM-33 recognized there were people there before
yes,
Jod did, but
hmm
I would think that if he was, I guess it's just probably his lack of experience in the Force is that he wasn't able to sense them there when they were so close to him.
yeah.
So
See, the other
it's
thing is, I
interesting.
mean, Jod's not a terribly powerful Force user either.
Yeah.
When you consider the fact that he was able to levitate some small keys, and he was able to do Obi-Wan
The light
Kenobi,
switch. Yeah.
yeah, mind tricks of just like you see something move over there out of the way, but that's all the extent we've really seen him do. We don't think he can actually jump in. We don't have the knowledge yet to know whether he can actually jump into somebody's mind and say do full on mind trick, Jedi mind trick, and that
Yeah.
is a that's a hard one to accomplish if you're not that skilled, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I kind of
So
doubt it. I
so
doubt he's at that level.
yeah, it doesn't feel like it, and that's also cool too. But I'm just I'm at that point. I like to know more about Jod. I feel like we got to get that. I do like, the moment that we started seeing the kids at the beginning there, and they go in and they're familiar with the entire surroundings. I think in my reaction, I was just like, "Wait a minute, this feels like their planet." And obviously,
Mhm.
it was, and it set up this wonderful, wonderful mystery of. I mean, again, it's like, what are these planets? What were they designed? What were the rest of these planets designed to do? And it just
Yeah.
So going
deepens
back to
that
the
mystery.
oldest,
And
like
that's
this.
got to be weird for Fern because that's like her house. Like that's the exact
Yeah,
same layout
That's
as
what I
her
was gonna
house,
say.
and
It's
she's
like
walking
yeah,
in. Like
you're right. Yeah,
how
I'm
it's
sure that
really
made her a
interesting because
little homesick too.
yeah,
the
Like
sets
man,
from like the first like seeing the first like two episodes, like the sets, like it looked amazing, and then seeing it destroyed, it also looks like really cool and creepy, eerie. Especially
yeah,
it's probably very creepy for them because it's exactly like their homes and everything. But
yeah,
it's all like demolished and destroyed and like all
yeah.
like
yeah,
decrepit. It looks very creepy, gives that eerie feeling. I really like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Did you catch that when Jod turns on the little holo device, that it was one of those holiday special twirlers, dancers, or something like that?
Not till later when I saw it on
Uh-huh.
Twitter, but
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
it was kind
Like
of cool.
I
It's
noticed
like,
there's like a little figure in there, but like I didn't make out what it was.
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
saw the.
yeah.
I
Sorry.
noticed the Rubik's cube sitting on the table though.
Oh yeah, the
That
Oh,
Rubik's
was
Cube
I
too.
don't know
there's
how
a
Yeah,
I
we were
caught
Rubik's
that.
Cube.
talking
I
about
didn't
that.
catch that. Wait a minute.
There's a
Oh
Rubik's
wow.
cube sitting on the table. I paused it. Me and Angela were
Yeah,
watching it
no way.
together, and I paused
I
it, and
did.
I was
I
like,
don't
"Oh,
have
there's
the
a
image.
Rubik's cube there."
Oh, that's hysterical. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so funny. Oh, that's
it was
great.
just like I was like, wait, no, there wasn't. And then he's like, yeah. And then he rewinded, and then he paused. I was like, yeah, this. It's like
Uh
those like
huh.
knockoff, like the white ones, like the like the knockoff white ones. It was
Yes.
like one of
Yeah.
those ones.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, no way. Okay, I gotta look out for that one. I did not catch that one. That's so funny. Um, Accra. Okay, so this is also kind of like adding to the mystery. I don't know if this is important or not. The statue with the had its head removed kind of thing. Again,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know if we'll ever even go back to this planet. Uh, the girl Hana, was it?
Oh, um,
I don't remember her name to
Yeah,
be
yeah. I
honest.
think, I think it was Hana. Hana or not Hana. It was I think it was Hana. Yeah, Hana. Hana. I think it was. Sounded very French. She did a lot of backflips, didn't
yeah,
she?
she's very French. She did.
Yeah, a lot of front flips, back flips. Neil gets all the girls, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a little.
He's
He's a little charmer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was I thought it was cute and funny at the same time. It was like, yeah, okay.
Me and Dan, I was talking to Danny. I was like, Neil was going crazy with it.
Yeah, yeah,
That woman. Yeah.
yeah. The one thing I think we learned when they went to this camp, by the way, was that the kids were given weapons training, which I think
Hmm.
is going to be kind of useful. I think I stopped to think about this afterwards. I think the main reason that maybe we didn't see too much of the other side of this army was the fact that it's Disney and they don't want to have kids shooting at kids or kids shooting at adults or stuff like that. And yet, I feel like weapons are needed for protecting themselves against pirates for some reason. And I don't know how. I think this was just a training montage of getting these kids to learn how to use basic weapons. Is in the Star Wars universe is my thought, and that's an iffy subject when you can consider that, you know. So I don't know. What are your thoughts
I
on
mean,
They weren't
they
really
were
that
shooting.
good with them.
They were shooting the X-wing pilots from the
that?
ship.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, they
Like from what we saw, like during like the training like little thing, like they weren't really that good. The only one who was good was KV. She was really good with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a natural.
Yeah.
Of course, Wim just goes for the one that looks the coolest right away. He doesn't even...
yeah. That was that was cool. Wait a minute. Where's the image? Yeah, there was that great shot here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, he goes for the big one, the big weapon one. That was great. I also like the fact that they had mega weapons on this planet. Again, I like to know more about what was going on here, and we get all these great moments, but we get really nothing truly about the development of this particular war and what was going on. It was, as I said, there was some things in there that just I wish they had polished up a little bit more. Any other
this
thoughts
planet
on
was
that?
underdeveloped. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a little underdeveloped. I think that
Yeah.
they weren't as interested in showing us though what was going on. It was more so focused on our characters that we're following, like the kids
Yeah.
and their role in it. Versus,
Focus
it
on.
would have been cool to see a lot
progression.
more of this planet, but I think they were more
Yeah.
focused on trying to make sure that they got enough screen time for Neil and for
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can see why that's what they chose to cut out versus like the character moments. But I do wish
Yeah.
we could have gotten the best of both worlds, gotten both
No,
of it.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, Neil, cute relationship, kind of fun, kind of stuff, and yeah, I thought it was fun. It was cute.
I love the moment when he scoots a little closer to her.
Yes, yeah. That was again. Neil's a player, absolutely, that's for sure. What else have we got? I mean, it's interesting, but it's like there was stuff that happened, but it's like I just don't know. The other cool thing was we actually got to see, I guess, the supervisor's tower for the first time, whoever this supervisor is. I think that was very telling as well, which means that if there is a similar tower on a different planet, it means that they should be able to go to one of those other planets and hopefully find a connection to Attin.
That's what I thought. As soon as I saw that the coordinates were erased from Attin, my brain started going like, "Oh, they're gonna have to go to another one," and then something's gonna be wrong with that one. They're probably gonna have to go to another one.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I was probably thinking. Yeah, is that maybe also the pirate, like whatever group they were part of that destroyed the first set. Like, what if they were also at the other planets too? So like, we don't know exactly. Like, what are their next steps? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. That's true.
Yeah. I think the other big telling thing on this episode, which was kind of cool, well, actually, this one here, Fern had a very vulnerable moment, which she just basically, didn't know what to do and admitted she didn't know what to do and that sort of stuff. And it's interesting to see. I don't know if they got into that too early in this story. But what are your thoughts on?
I mean, I think that scene is among the reasons this is my favorite episode. I think it's great to see these kids being kids. Like, she's been the tough one this whole time. Oh, I'm the captain. Listen to me. I do this. But she's a kid. Like, she's young. She doesn't. So I like that it's finally catching up to her. She's like, I can't do this.
The sense of overwhelmness, like being overwhelmed with all this stuff is like they're so close to finally like being back home, and then it's like they got to an area which was not their home, which looks exactly their home, and then get another chance that could be finally take them home, and then it's destroyed.
Yeah,
and like I said, it's how they went to her house at the start. Well, her like house, like the representation of her house. I think she's just it's catching up to her how real this is. Like she sees that,
Right.
she probably is thinking of her mom, and she's
Yeah.
like, it's not just something that she can just be tough through anymore. I think her toughness is wearing out. And then I just love that scene for Wim too. How him and Fern are constantly at odds with each other. They're always arguing.
This is the first connection.
They're the two that don't get along.
But like, they're able to connect together. And he was able to like cheer her up and kind of.
He admits he's like. He admits he's like he looks up to her. He's like you're the leader for a reason.
We wouldn't make it this far if I was the captain.
Yeah,
which is true.
Yeah,
Wim would have gotten them killed by now. So
yeah, you're right. I guess it's weird because I keep thinking it's like I wish there was more to than 8 episodes for this story because I feel like in some cases like this feels like this would be if there was a 12 episode arc, this would be like episode 7. Where we get this kind of connection. We're getting it earlier on in episode 4. And I wish this show was a little bit longer. Because I feel like we could really flush out some of those details a little bit. A good character development. Yeah, it is. I'm enjoying these characters a lot. Fern needs to be vulnerable, otherwise Ray begins to pick up. Yeah. Otherwise, the Ray. Okay. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The characters are they're showing their vulnerability. They're showing their weaknesses at this point. I think we're going to get this strength coming from them. I still think Jod is still that one character I want to learn more about now, and I feel like he's the mystery we may not get until episode 6 or 7 about what his true. You know, we know what his intentions are, but we don't know what his true path was. And I want to know his path.
No, I agree with you about longer episodes. I mean, the more episodes, though. Like, I feel like if we had more, too, this could have been a 2-episode kind of play. Where one episode we learn more. You know, we can mix in that character development, then we get the stuff you're talking about the lore of the planet, the backstory of the 2 groups. I just feel like streaming really, like, kind of killed, like, traditional TV shows. Like, most TV shows would have gotten 22 episodes.
Sure.
Now we get 6 or 8.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. 22 episodes becomes too long because then you get all these fillers.
There needs like a middle ground.
8 feels sometimes too short if they're half-hour stories. If these were 1-hour stories or a little longer, I feel like we would have got that flushed out. Obviously, every show has a budget and stuff like that. And I understand that too. And I feel like they haven't quite found that happy medium between... I think 45 minutes an episode would be a nice happy medium for some of that stuff that could be polished up a little bit to be played out. I feel like it just wouldn't get lost in the way kind of thing. Will Skeleton Crew be its own thing, or will they bring on more familiar characters? It's its own thing. They're not planning on bringing in an R2-D2 or anybody like that. I'd say, in fact, actually, this is the one thing I talked about from our reaction with my other guys the other day, was that I would not be surprised that because these kids know nothing about the Empire, that they actually go to one of these planets and remnants of the leftover of an Imperial army might still be on one of these planets. Because I feel like these kids need to learn about what the Empire was in this galaxy that they know nothing about. And I think that would be a very interesting story to be told. That if we get some sort of, a couple of last holdout Imperial troopers for some reason somewhere. And I feel like we need... Because there's little remnants throughout the galaxy, pockets of Imperials.
I mean, it's mostly its own thing. I'm kind of still holding out hope for like a Carson Teva cameo or just something small to tie it into the rest of the Mandoverse.
I don't think I need that.
At the same time.
I just don't think. This is.
I don't know. I don't want like
anything.
I don't want like Luke Skywalker or like Chewbacca. Like I don't want a big character to show up for sure. No. I don't think it needs that at all. But I'd like a little bit. I'd like something. Okay.
I guess like probably kind of like the most probably going to get something like what we saw earlier like in the series is like the holiday special people. I don't think we're going to have like a big.
Well, that's a really deep dive, but
I don't think we're going to get like a really big character kind of thing coming in. I just think it's going to be like look a small little like glove shadow kind of thing.
Yeah.
What the biggest one we have right now is Vane, right? He's from Mando season 3. That's the closest tie-in we have.
Yeah.
But I like someone like Carson Teva, that level of character, not necessarily Carson Teva. I think that would be my choice, but
I mean, originally people were kind of questioning why wasn't the X-wing pilot Carson Teva or what's his name, Dave Filoni's character,
Trapper Wolf,
Trapper Wolf, or someone like that. And it's like, then you'd be kind of making the galaxy such a small place that these guys are the only ones who are out.
Two different,
We've seen them at almost every, like Carson Teva. We've seen it in almost every single show at this point. You know, we saw him in Book of Boba Fett. Was it Book of Boba Fett? No, wait. Yeah, we've seen him in almost every show. He's been in all the Mando episodes, seasons at least, so at some point or another. And it's kind of like, you cannot make the Star Wars galaxy so small that they're the only ones policing the galaxy.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Yeah,
I get that argument. But I just feel like with the Dave Filoni produced show, and I feel like when it was announced, they said like, "Oh, this is part of the Mandoverse." Like, I feel like they have something planned for it, even if it's nothing big.
Possibly. No idea. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, back to this tower. So the fact that another big reveal here, SM-33 destroys these coordinates, and then Fern has the bright idea of kind of reprogramming his memory, and we get some really cool killer shots, visuals of SM-33, the camera angle attached to the actual puppet as he's moving around.
That was great.
It was not just great, but
it was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
It was very how he's all like changing his arms, all like unleashing and like, becoming taller and like bigger.
Yeah, I think that it's fascinating to me that somebody really didn't want anybody to find this planet. And so a silly little thing like deactivating his memory that would switch him on or off, or whichever way you want to do it, was really kind of very clever in the script and quite terrifying. I was actually genuinely, for the first time, really afraid for the kids' characters' lives, because I thought it was quite a menacing sequence of events that happen. So I wonder how we're going to solve it. I guess I'm going to assume that KB will just do some rewiring and all that, but I don't know if we're going to get that information back.
Well, kind of like bring it like how they first got this information out. I really like how like she used the same thing, because like we've seen her use this already before, like back at her home planet with the nanny robot too. It's very cool seeing like using that same, like we've seen her already know how to do that.
Oh yeah,
and that mind games with the things like I'm your captain now. Like now I tell you to do all that stuff. It's like
but
like, get rid of the programming.
No, I love.
Sorry.
Yeah. I love it when like shows do that, when it like they set up something that seems so insignificant, like her recomputing the nanny droid to like pretend like she's been home the whole time and she wasn't out driving. Well, that doesn't seem like it's going to play a larger part, and then I love it when it comes back and plays a much bigger role than you thought it was going to be.
Right. Hey Chris, the episode was a total throughout. I wouldn't say it's a total throughout. Those things we definitely learned along the episode. We were saying before that there are things that I wish they had cleaned up a little bit and kind of played base on. So if you're just joining in, that's where we're going with that conversation. Sorry, Daniel, I didn't mean to cut you in.
No, you're good. I was good. I was good with what I said.
SM-33. I mean, again, really, really freaking just great moment. I'm going to assume he's going to be reprogrammed. The fact that you can just switch him off, though, is a bit, I guess you can switch 3PO off too, I guess, but before I saw the end credits of the two Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'd actually forgotten they had directed an episode. So it's kind of cool to see them doing some Star Wars. That's for sure. You guys saw Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, I did. I didn't. Yeah. I saw it.
You haven't?
I was watching.
No. I heard it's really good.
To watch the Oscar-nominated movies
on the list.
So I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, that blew me away!" Like I watched it pre it winning the Oscar. I watched it when it was nominated, and I was like, let's see. Like I've heard some good things, and I was like, oh yeah, that deserves the Oscar. Like that was incredible. So
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you get the chance. I very much enjoyed it. I saw it on the big screen a couple of times actually. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, I just wish this episode was longer. I really wanted to get a bit more background. One of the big things that one of my guys on my reaction video was saying was he was kind of hoping that this war that was obviously happening off screen could have been solved or ended by Neil, because it felt like Neil was on this advanced path of actually trying to create this buffer with what's her name, Hana, that there you can end this war kind of thing. And it's like he was the good of the side of light, this little kid, who kind of has all this hope and optimism about him.
Yeah, they definitely did set that up. Yeah, with especially her when they were parting ways, it was like whenever I become leader, I will try to use the same kind of tactics that you do, like the bravery and making peace and kind of stuff instead of only war.
Yeah, I think in a way he did end the war, because I mean, it's a generations long conflict from what we understand. It's not going to end in this one day that they're there, but I think he changed the mind of a future leader, which I think is what will ultimately end up impacting the war.
Yeah.
So I think in a way he kind of did end it. It just wasn't like a full on immediate.
It won't be quick. Yeah.
Do we think we'll ever see this planet again, though? In this season at least, or in the future of? Because it seems like this is a one and done planet. It's
I'm thinking
it definitely feels like one and done.
Yeah.
Maybe a season 2 return. I could see that, but
that'd be cool.
Not in this season.
Yeah, I just don't know how important it is. I don't know how important their little war is comparison to, finding the way home. You think Neil's going to die? No, I don't think any of the kids are going to die. They're not going to kill a kid, Chris. And on top of it, everybody thinks somebody's going to die in a Star Wars film. It's like, or series. It's like, no, they're probably going to live on. They're going to find some way. I don't think they'll kill any of the kids. Yeah, Neil scored big. that kid, again, right back from the first episode, we see him daydreaming, looking at the young little alien girl in class, and it's like, he's a smooth one. That's for sure. I thought. Yeah,
it's funny because he mentions to Wim in the first episode. He's like, "Have you even talked to her?" And he's like, "Not yet."
Yeah.
So I feel like this will almost give him the courage now when he gets back home. Okay, now I know that I've got it. I'm smooth.
Yeah, good point. That was the other. Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was gonna
say that.
A different point. So
the other thing too was when Neil's trunk starts getting all choked up from the smoke. And we actually got to see his mouth talking for the first time. Under his trunk, we saw an angle where his mouth was actually talking for the first time, which I thought was kind of...
I think we saw that before. I think it's just been really subtle.
It's the first time I
feel like
it's very hard to see, especially how big the trunk is.
Yeah, you have to be at a certain camera angle looking up to see the mouth even moving at that point. But I thought it was kind of like, okay, this is cool. Yeah, guys, what else? Any other questions in the chat there at all? Any other thoughts? What were your thoughts on the episode? What worked? What didn't work? Let us know, guys. And we'll
while they're responding to that, I want to go back to the King No Head, as Wim called him.
Yeah.
I want to know. I feel like we just glossed over it a little bit. I feel like it's important. I feel like they wouldn't have pointed that out if it wasn't important. I don't know if maybe that's the ruler that set up these 9 planets, or if each planet has a ruler figure.
Yeah.
Obviously we haven't seen a statue like that at Attin yet, but
right. Well,
I feel like that's got to be important, the way they showed it. Framing of it.
Let's put this into a thought process. What if this is the administrator? Maybe this is a statue of the administrator on this planet who was once there. Which means that it does answer a question if it is, the administration or the administrator is possibly a human rather than a droid. Because we've had this conversation back and forth about, is the administrator a droid? My belief has always been, I feel like this administrator at Attin would be a droid. But maybe this was the administrator on this planet, so maybe it is a person, and it's a pass down of information, because it definitely looks like it's a human hand and human
definitely
look like that.
Yeah, it's
but it's interesting that the head is the one part we can't see. Like,
yeah,
well, exactly. Maybe that's a misdirect then, and it's like it reveals the head and it's a droid head, or like something. I don't know, but it does look human.
Or maybe like it does a thing like after like each like planet or whatever, like it's probably like they're all somewhere similar, like kind of people, like they have like it's like a family or something, or it might be someone like this character we've probably already seen, who is the administrator, but like secretly is like kind of or because we have clones we have clones in Star Wars, so like what if like they made like a clone, like a whole bunch of like administrators, and like they all have the same purpose for the same planets that are all identical. Like these planets are clones of each other. Maybe the supervisor or like
I like that.
And like
that's kind of
like the reason the head's gone is like whatever happened to this planet, and like we probably already seen the supervisor, but we don't know their supervisor because it's shrouded in mystery, whoever it is.
Or it could be just a leader who was once a ruler and they died, and it could be as simple as that.
It could be nothing. If we've already seen the supervisor, who would you guys think it is out of the characters we've seen so far?
My first reaction, specifically at the beginning of episode 2, when we see the parents, Wim's father.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it could be Fern's like mother. Like she says, like she's got a higher up position. And maybe she's just lying about how high up of a position. Like she doesn't want everyone to know she's the supervisor. But
could be. Any thoughts?
To be honest, I would think it's either I have a feeling if we have seen the supervisor, it's definitely probably either one of the parents or it's like in episode 1, the one person, that one lady that came into like the classroom.
That is Fern's mother.
That was the Fern's mom. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I probably got it mixed up. Okay.
Then, because of the outfit, I didn't catch it the first time around either, but it actually is Fern's mom. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But all right. So hang on a second. Let's see what we got here. Will the kids meet Mando and Grogu in the other Mando movie? I don't think the kids have got anything. I
highly doubt it.
Yeah, I think I think these characters are kind of like one and done story arc. I don't think they're going to tie to the greater Star Wars universe so much. I'd be surprised if they did. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but it wouldn't be. We would likely see more familiar ships, aliens, or planets. I mean, when you consider the fact that the pirate shipyards have got a lot of like hidden gems in there. I mean, we're not going to see the Millennium Falcon or whatever, but we've been getting a lot of even on these planets, we've been getting a lot of Ithorians, Hammerhead race. We've been getting a few. Actually, that's something we can talk about for a second here. This leads into familiar aliens. The planets so far, including this one, have got very similar alien species that what we saw at Attin. The same,
yeah, not just similar. It's like the same.
And so for me, it says this is not an isolated group of just humans. Like Andor is mostly isolated humans in the sectors that we saw, the prisons and all that sort of stuff. It seemed like the Empire separated probably the humans from other alien life forms. We saw very few aliens, I think, from memory in Andor. And that is an explanation as to, I think as to why we may not have seen as many aliens to a certain degree, because we're all focusing on the human base. But in this particular case, they are similar groups. And so that is also telling as well as to that it wasn't just a choice to isolate a planet of its own natural race.
It very feels like each of these planets were like they were made all like to be identical to each other. Like
yeah, and again, it feels like that experiment that somehow there's an experiment here that is very 1950s of the small town about to be nuke bombed or something like that. Living in the nuclear area and it's just that kind of, and they're all scientists and all. It's just that same kind of really weird vibe. about it, which
and
is
then
kind of cool.
That keeps bringing up the question: then, if this is some sort of experiment, what is the experiment? Like, what is it that they're trying to accomplish here? Like, clearly they have some sort of goal. There's no reason you don't just make 9 planets, make satellites for them, and hide them out just because you felt like it. Like, there's some greater thing at work here. And they talk about the great works that they're doing on the planet. And I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Thing like why Attin's also like the only reason, like the only one that seems to be ongoing or like successful.
Hey Ronan, how's it going? You were just wrapping things up. Sorry, just catching up there. So, yeah, you're right. You can jump on Ronan if you're up, up for it. I sent off the link. So, let's see. So I'm just trying to catch up on all these little things here. Every episode gives us more stuff to spec. Well, that's it. I think that's the great thing about this show is that it has been getting us little drops of certain things to speculate over. And I think now with this mystery of the other planets, I'm curious. With only 4 episodes left, we can't explore the other, I guess, 7 planets. Or maybe they do. Maybe they jump from planet to planet in a single episode.
So like a good episode where they just go to each planet.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a good chance that some of these planets are just completely deserted and nobody survived, and there could have been something. But I still personally have hopes that the Empire might have settled on one of these hidden planets and kind of quietly building up their army or something. Which that'd be kind of fun too. I mean, come on, think about that. But I feel like the kids need a taste of what the Empire was all about going into that story, if they do choose to do that. And it's just simply because the kids and their world had never heard of the Empire, and I feel like that's a big part of it. And agree would make sense that he's so high strung. We're talking about.
I think that was about Wim's dad.
Oh, Wim's dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like Wim's dad knows something more than he's letting on too, and even though because I think he's a high up analyst. And I feel like whatever he knows, obviously he's got concern for his kid, but at the same time, I feel like this might be his breaking away from whatever he's in. Is possible.
Like how he's working, how long of days he works. Like he's gone early in the morning and then he's back late at night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big part of that mystery too. Is he just working late, or is there something more sinister going on, or more interesting? Maybe there were 9 pirate captains who had a great plan that somehow went away. That could be it too. Maybe because we haven't really talked about where are the other pirates at this point in time. I'm going to assume that maybe they put a tracking device on the ship. Maybe they didn't. I don't know.
I think more likely they probably put one on SM because they had him locked up in the robot bay kind of thing.
Yeah,
so they might have thrown a tracker on him, but I don't think they ever made it all the way to the ship like the other pirates and stuff because they also obviously didn't know which ones was their ship until they led them to it.
Yeah. So maybe I mean also SM-33 could be a spy. You don't know. He could be in. He may not have control over what he is being programmed to do.
No, at least because the captain or whatever. Because he even says himself how the captain when he reprogrammed them his captain killed everybody who was on the ship. He killed everybody on the ship and then rewired him so he can't speak about it. And then
have you guys ever seen Treasure Island?
A long time ago, so I can't remember the specifics. But
so one of the bases of it is the captain that buries this treasure, kills his whole crew, so that way they can't ever find the treasure.
Right.
So I'm kind of thinking it's a situation like that. This captain, Smee's or SM-33's captain, was just consumed by greed, and he didn't want to share this planet that he had discovered. Because I'm assuming this is. I don't think the pirates have anything to do with the planets being made. At least that's my opinion. Could be. We could see. No. But I think that
they're the ones searching for the treasure.
This was after the legend had been around, and they had heard this legend too. So he realizes where it's at. He finds it, makes this great discovery, and he's like, well, I want this to myself. I'm killing everyone else. I know my droid is going to stay loyal. So
well,
that's kind of my theory.
We know from the early trailers that showed of Skeleton Crew, there is a treasure room of some sort. There's a giant Nikto skull, not skull, but a head piece that looks like it's covered, with gold and stuff around it. So it feels like, maybe that's one of the Attin. They threw off a few names. I can't remember. I should have written those names down. But we've got a few other planets. I'm also wondering whether these actual names of the planets, because they all start with at, and I'm curious whether or not that has got some sort of a hidden meaning to it too, because there could be some sort of hidden meaning to the names. Chris, you keep saying that the First Order. See, here's the thing, though. I don't think Palpatine was even around when this was all going down. So how could he actually connect or put in the First Order within these planet systems? I feel like this is a much older planetary connected idea or thought that could have been as far back as the High Republic.
And we can see, because like even the money they have, like the money they give Wim, he literally, it's Republic credits.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's what makes them so valuable, because like, it's the new Republic, and it's like, oh, this thing, this is like some old money. It's like,
well, that's it too. So I think that is also part of it. I feel like too much connection. Oh, cool. Hang on a sec, guys. We've got Ronan. Hey, Ronan, how's it going, man?
What's up?
Ronan Unchained is in, and
it's been a busy day.
Yeah. No, I literally got back from work about 15 minutes before the stream, so I was like, what are your thoughts on this episode? May as well jump into that.
Neo. KOTOR reference.
Oh, what was that? I missed that. Hang on.
So when they go to that one like staircase place, and they're like, it looks exactly like it does back home.
Right.
And Wim says, "You think it's like the Knights of the Old?" And then Neo cuts him off, and I was like, he was referencing KOTOR.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And you get the little Phantom Menace vibes right there with the battle droids tank. You get the little creatures from Boon to Eve, if you will, if I'm getting that right.
Right. Well, I mean, actually, honestly, I did bring it. So yeah, we see the tank. It's not quite a droid battle tank.
Battle droid, yeah.
It's something close.
Yes,
but it looks like it comes from the same company that would have manufactured. But it also feels older than the droid battle tanks because it's more chunkier. So we definitely are talking about before these planets existed, before Palpatine and the
Separatists,
the Separatists. Thank you. The Separatists came in and all that. So
I love Neo with the French girl. I thought that was very adorable. I was like, go get him, Tiger, and it was such a cool thing. And then SM-33 going full like Michael Myers, even with the shots.
It was great. I was
going,
so
and then
Neo
coming through, saving the day, and him like, I did it, and then fading away. I laughed my ass off. And even a moment with Fern acknowledging that she's
being vulnerable.
Over her head.
Mm-hmm. Well, Daniel was saying that's such great character development, because we're going to
so good.
Again, my biggest concern, I was saying to the guys here that my biggest concern for the episode specifically was that the whole little war that was going on, I would like to have seen just a little bit more development, and the other side a little bit more. I need to know a little bit more about what that war is going on. Otherwise, it feels like it's a kind of a throwaway storyline of the characters are now in this situation, but this war that's going on is not that important. And I feel like everything should be important if the kids are going to be involved in it, and I feel like they should have some sort of interaction within that moment. And I think, again, Daniel, I think you also said there that that Neil did make a connection. I think you both said that she did make a connection to Hana. I think it was Hana, right? Yeah. And I didn't feel it as strongly. Again, I only got the chance to watch this episode the once. I haven't had the time because I've been really busy the last few days. I haven't had the chance to actually get back and rewatch it. So I need to kind of do a good rewatching on it. So I'm a little behind on that.
I mean, there's definitely a point when they're like leaving, saying their goodbyes, where she like specifically says to him, like, maybe when I'm leader, we can do things a little differently.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's like
they have to not continue the cycle of warring between the two clans.
Yeah. I think the big take also, Ronan, that I got from the episode was that the kids were given weapons training for the first time, and that's kind of important.
Yeah, that was like at points I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna make these kids kill people when I don't know about that. Like,
well, here's the thing. Again, it's like I was looking at it. The reason they didn't do any fighting in this war was the fact it would have been like war situation. I think they've kept the weapons for shooting at the pirates and protecting themselves from the pirates. Which is not a war situation. It becomes that fun Star Wars. And then, of course, you guys suddenly said, it's like, yeah, but they were shooting X-Wings the week before anyway. So the kids are already shooting at X-Wing pilots. It's like... Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But it's even more like fantasy.
But that's the Star.
Like turrets.
No, the war on this planet was too real. It was too much of it was too real of a war. I think to try and get the kids involved.
And that's where I feel like.
So I think you're right. Like they're saving it for like the pirates. Like when the pirates in, they can actually use it because it was more.
But I mean, even in those basic terms, John was the one who said, you turn this on, you switch this switch, and you shoot, and you fire there. And so you got some basic training of how to use starship weaponry. But these kids were getting full-on first-arm hand weapons. It's like, okay, Disney, they want to be careful about what they're showing their audiences, so they have to tame it down.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. But keep it open enough for the, as I said, the Star Wars, which is the, shooting against the pirates who might be attacking them, because that's the fun stuff that you can, that you can protect yourself from and keep that fantasy element. I don't think any of these kids are going to actually shoot and kill somebody. But
they'll start dropping traps like the Goonies against the Fratelli.
That's it. Yes, yes. I'm all for traps. Absolutely. Yeah. What would I give this episode out of 10? It was my least favorite of the 4 episodes. I'm going to say that just from my point of view. But again, I was tired and I do need to rewatch it. I would probably give it about a 7 out of 10, maybe. What about you guys?
I probably give it around like the same. I might give like a little, because I did really like that episode. There was like some like great stuff in it. Like it was really great. Obviously, Neil was like one of my favorite characters in seeing. So like I like seeing his character develop more in this episode.
Yeah.
I'll probably give. I would still like either give it like a 7.5 or an 8. I would say.
Okay. All right. Daniel or Ronan?
I really hadn't considered this. Ronan, if you want to go first, I'm still thinking.
I don't think it's my favorite episode, but I think it's still a good one. Like I still like the previous one and the pirate port, if you will.
Yeah.
But the character stuff in this one is probably the best thing out of the series thus far with Neil and the dynamic of the kids. Like episode wise as a whole, I think it's my third favorite. But character stuff for the kids, this one was just shot its way up, and I'm like,
agree.
Keep going with this stuff. Keep going with this stuff, and like, eventually we'll start leading into the stuff that we have seen already in the trailers.
Yeah.
So I would go like 8 out of 10 maybe.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I think,
that's cool.
Like I said before, I think this is my favorite one, and I'm a sucker for like character moments.
Sure.
Like, I prefer a good character beat over like a good action scene. I know that not everyone thinks that way, but that's just how I always am.
Oh no.
So, I think I'd probably give some of the other ones like an 8. So I think I got to give this one like an 8.5.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. That's good. Cool. Let me think. What else? We're coming up on the hour at this point, but what else do we think about the episode?
I want to touch real quick on the...
Yeah.
We didn't really mention it much. I kind of forgot about it, but just the title, that phrase of can't say I remember no Attin.
Yes.
Like, I love how for 3 episodes now we've been directed to think like, oh, he just like, that's just his way of saying like he doesn't remember it. Like he's just speaking.
Or just he doesn't know. Yeah.
He's speaking like a pirate, like, can't say I remember no and then we find out he literally can't say. Like it's not that he doesn't remember Attin, he can't say he remembers Attin. So I thought that was an interesting twist on the words there.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's really clever, right?
Yeah. In my reaction to, I was just like, when that moment came to realization that it was a program and that he was about to kill these kids, I was like, whoa, this is dark. Like, I love it when a show can do that dark twist and make you feel threatened. Yeah,
it was this feeling that scene gave was perfect. I love that scene.
Oh yeah, no, it was a fun one. I'm excited to see, as I said, I'm excited to see. I guess they're going to go to one of these other planets next. I'm going to assume they're going to find a similar world that they've already found here. But at the same time, like this, there's seven other planets out there that they haven't explored. I'm going to assume that some are dead worlds. I'm going to assume that we will get some sort of adventure. It seems to be the only thing. But then again, we haven't even begun the threat of the pirates catching up to them. And I feel like we've got to have another connection with those pirates before the finale of the season, because I feel like we are heading back home in this show. If they are going to tie up this season as a possible one-off story, I feel like they're going to have to find Attin and get home, but the threat is right behind them, about to invade. And that's
they find their way home, but then they accidentally lead the other pirates to their home. So then they have
basically
kind of thing, like fight them off at Attin or something.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the Treasure Island story because obviously SM-33 is a representation of technically Long John Silver, or I'm going to assume maybe, but then that could be Jod too.
Well, I think Jod, because Jod is Captain Silvo. Yeah. So I think that's the Long John Silver equivalent.
Yeah.
I just brought that up to say the killing everyone, to hide the secret part of it. I don't know how closely they're going to follow the rest of that story. Yeah. But one thing I was going to point out is I've heard a lot of people online saying that they think showing Neil that big gun on the roof is another Chekhov's gun, and that somewhere on Attin he's probably going to have to find that gun, it's an installation maybe on top of the school.
Because
they've got to go find that gun to defend against the pirates. So.
And on top of it, good point. It could be a hidden weapon. That would be sweet. The other thing also is that all roads lead to the tower. It seems like whenever they get home, they're going to have all these understandable secrets how to get into this tower in their own home and be able to get in there and figure out, whatever the answers are in that tower.
Definitely.
On that Attin, that's for sure. Guys. Yeah. Any other last thoughts? Otherwise, we'll end it up about here.
Yeah, I just want to say for next week, like you said, I think we got to get back to the pirates. It's been 2 weeks now. No mention of the Wolf Man. I can't remember his name. Brutus. Or any of his crew. Brutus. Yeah, Brutus or any of his crew. And I think that if we go too long without seeing them, I think we need to have a little mention of them at least, or
we need a clash. We need a clash of these characters. I mean, we also we need to understand the relationship of Jod in this entire story. I mean, there's a couple of merging story points that are coming along, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
One last thing I do want your guys' opinion on. I noticed a question more towards the beginning from Anchorman about what we think of, or someone maybe. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce this name. About Jod's home planet. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that, because he mentioned specifically, hey, this reminds me a lot of my home planet when he steps off the ship when we get here.
Yeah, you're right too.
There's got to be something there. His home planet is clearly important in some way.
Huh.
I was curious what your guys' thoughts are on that.
I hadn't thought too much about that, actually.
Yeah, that's the kind of line that kind of went through one ear out the other. I didn't really give thought to it, but either his planet is kind of when we stepped out, it was all foggy, so it was maybe it's just more foresty, foggy planet, or that we've probably seen before, or just And I kind of just said that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you mentioned. I think we saw it last on Ahsoka, didn't we? No, wait, Mandalorian. Mandalorian.
They mentioned the ashiness of it. They said oh, it's ashy, and then he said, oh, just like my home planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost wondering. This might be too connected. But he's from
Mustafar.
Mustafar. Yeah, Mustafar's ashy.
I doubt it very much. I don't think they're going to go into too much of a deep dive. That big of a deep dive. Again, I think the biggest thing that we need to. Biggest thing would be kind of fun to explore would be the Empire, and I feel like if the Empire have got a hidden little base on one of these planets, and these kids run into some Imperial elements, remnants, I feel like that story needs to be told. I think the kids need to understand or learn that there's a whole story going on outside their planet that has been going on for 50 years that they know nothing about, and that they should be at least getting some sort of a hint that, oh, this happened. And I feel like that may or may not happen. I don't know if it's going to be something. So I guess we'll find that.
I think it was really only brought up to kind of like show like how like disconnected they were with the rest of the galaxy. I don't really think they're going to go back that much to the Empire.
Right. Well, I mean, because they do mention Alderaan, and and of course Alderaan.
Yeah, like the entire thing is like how they had nothing.
Yeah. But nothing was really truly developed from that conversation. And this is no one's explained to them this is what has been happening.
Exactly. Yeah. What happened? Like, what was this Galactic Civil War? They have no clue.
Yeah. And I feel like it's at least something that is noteworthy, but again, maybe it's not. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe that's
I have a feeling it was really only showing like how disconnected they were from the rest of the galaxy. I don't really think it has that much of a weight. They might see some Imperial relevance and like, they might learn what the Empire was, but I don't think it's gonna be a heavy role part.
I could see it either way. I don't think it's crucial to the story the show is telling with these with these kids and their character arcs, but it could be fun. I think it could be a good moment. I just don't know if it's crucial.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. All right, guys. I think we'll leave it here. Everyone out there, if you enjoy this, please like and subscribe if you have not already. Ronan Unchained, they can find you on Ronan Unchained, right? So yep. And
on all the socials, on YouTube. Yeah.
And you just did a whole big piece, a live piece on Superman trailer.
I did. I did a reaction that you can go watch me flipping out for. I had not slept the whole day, and then I did a Creature Commandos stream breaking down episode 4 because that came out today as well.
Spoilers haven't caught up yet on that.
I won't. And you're gonna flip out. And then we did a stream as well for Superman that you can go find out, and it was awesome. There's a bunch of content creators and fellow fans that we all got to geek out about.
I need to know because I did a reaction to. What were your thoughts on the Superman trailer, guys? Just quickly, because I know it's not Star Wars, but I need to know.
It made me want to go back and go watch Superman the animated series or Justice League Unlimited. It makes me want to go buy some comic books. That's the best thing. And right now I'm very hopeful that the DCU is going to grow stronger and stronger. And down the line, we're going to get stuff like Animal Man. Or the weird stuff from DC that a lot of people don't know, so I loved it.
Fair enough. Angelo,
I think it was really good seeing like all of these, like especially seeing all the stuff in action, like especially seeing like the little small clips that we saw like of all the other superheroes, like Guy Gardner, like because like you saw set photos of him far away, but never got really a close up image, and seeing him close up was like it's perfect, like his goofy bowl cut and everything, and how like Green Lantern ring, how like using it for a little bit, like it looked really good.
Yep. Daniel?
I think it feels a lot like a comic book, and it feels hopeful. And I think that's the main thing you want Superman to be is like this hopeful, bright symbol of peace. Yeah. Like I enjoy Man of Steel. I think it's a good movie, but I'm glad that we're going kind of in a different direction with it. I think this is the more traditional Superman, like the way that he was originally intended to be.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Symbol.
Yeah. I was never a huge fan of the Snyderverse. It was always too gritty, too dark for that character. Right. So for me, I didn't connect with it as much. And I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just simply saying I never connected with his style of filmmaking for that character. That being said, because there was a earthly bound element to his style, I'm glad we've been invited to James Gunn's comic book world of Superman, and that's exactly what we are going to be getting from that. And hopefully the few fans that are kind of ditching on it or questioning is this going to be any good need to just wait, see what the outcome of the film is like. So far, I love the textures of this world because I feel like I'm watching a comic book film and not an earthbound, base, gritty kind of realistic character of Superman. Superman is supposed to represent hope and goodness, and I feel like we're going to see that in this version of Superman, and I'm very excited to see what he does with this film. Anyway, guys, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us out there in the chat, everyone, and we shall catch you all later. Alrighty.